Hey. Welcome. It's Family Matters. It's Kevin Peterson.
What's up?
Oh, God. Life, man. Life is up, I love our conversations beforehand. One of these days we should
Oh, no, we shouldn't.
we should publicize our pregame warm up. It's not official show related. It's all everything else. But one day we will maybe. So how are you doing, Mr. Kevin Peterson?
Jay, my friend, I'm doing well. It's hot. It's so hot. It's been, I think we're on day 51 over 90. And, that is not my idea of how I want to live. So, and what are we at? I think it's supposed to rain later today. We are at 64% humidity. So that's low. So
it doesn't rain in Florida, does it?
Oh, it's been raining a lot recently, the last couple of days. Just a smidge, it's not like Texas or anything. But
well, we get hurricanes. We had a hurricane rip through Texas in half. So basically,
yep.
Anyway, so
yeah.
Well, so how's life been? Anything on your mind? Anything you want to get off your chest? Anything before we get into questions?
You mean like new job or something like that?
If you want to go in the new job, I mean, this is really kind of a new platform. Whatever you want.
I took the director of family services job at Jaywalker Lodge in Carbondale, Colorado on July 1st.
No way.
I know, right? I'm gonna be working with all the families individually and doing their weekly Zoom calls and then doing their every 6 weeks family program. I'll be flying, like next week, I'm flying out there to help facilitate that. And sort of it's an opportunity to do what you and I have been doing, but, just on a full-time gig.
Pretty soon, I'm sure they'll shut this show down because this is probably just no good for their reputation. But anyway, we'll go as long as possible until they pull the plug, but I'm sure their hand is on the plug at any time. But
not at all. Not at all.
That Jay, he's a loose cannon. We never, we trust Kevin, but we never know what that Jay's going to spot off. But I get it. I live on the edge. But anyway, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I highly respect Jaywalker. If it was anywhere, if it was a place I didn't respect, we probably would stop the show instantly. I'll just say that. So we can, I'll wear my Jaywalker hat every so often, which I do on a regular basis. So anyway, Jaywalker Lodge, amazing program up in Colorado. Now Kevin Peterson, KP's there. So, I mean, good God, the best just gets better, I guess. So, I mean, if you're a family member of someone going through Jaywalker, though, you thought it was just going to be skating by. Now you're in for it. So, anyway, So let's get right into it. And so I'm going to go right into it. Promotion or something like. So I was watching a podcast and I knew I was going to do this, and I even told myself I should write it down. I can't remember who it was, but anyway, so the podcast was basically what's the biggest thing that they've learned or best piece of advice. And this young entrepreneur was basically saying like his life coach when he was a young entrepreneur says that everything is your fault. So, and when I heard that, what he basically was saying was, whatever happens in your life, whatever happens in your company is your fault. All the success is your fault. All the failures as a company is your fault. Everything you do, and you can go into your personal life, your dating, your marriage, your finances, everything's your fault. Like you set everything up. And so I took that on a personal level, which it hit straight to my, I can complain. I can sometimes play the victim. Sometimes get real comfortable sitting, especially if I'm working from home. I can get real comfortable watching Dr. Phil sometimes in the afternoon and when I should be making those phone calls. And then I can complain that the phone's not ringing, but everything is my fault. And so what I wanted to do here is kind of turn this around on KP and Kevin Peterson and go more into the families. And because what I hear, I'll personalize it, from a lot of families is, and you hear it, and I'm not just saying it's just me, but you get that first phone call, Johnny is doing fentanyl, Johnny's drinking, Johnny's doing all these other things. Kevin, Jay, I want you to fix Johnny. And there's really no kind of the family fun. Like, I want to kind of get into educating the families. Where's their fault? I mean, it's obviously not just Johnny that's setting up this whole thing. Where's the family's fault in more cases when it comes to the cycle of addiction?
Sure. And I totally get where you're coming from. I don't like the word fault. It has a huge negative connotation like shame.
So now you're shooting my, I mean, God dang it. Anyway, I like it. Come up with a better word.
Accountability.
That's a long word I can't spell.
Well, yeah. I'll text it.
Default I can spell. FALT, right?
Yeah, there you go. You got it. I think there's an E on the end too. It's silent.
Accountability, yeah.
So accountability. So no, I totally get it. I totally understand the question that you're asking and where it's coming from. And the concept of the family system saying there's something wrong with him. You need to take him away for 30, 60, 90 days, maybe 6 months, magically fix him and bring him back. And that is, that's just not how it works. That's a little nutty. But I mean, it's definitely how people perceive things in our world today, But what I always try to tell people is, let's look at it this way. Yeah, he has a problem. There's no question about it. And it's definitely probably substance abuse, and there's probably some significant mental health issues and lots of really crappy behavioral issues, 100%, no questions asked. What the best thing we can do to help him is change the system that he came from. And what I always tell people is, you're not responsible for his addiction and his mental health issues, but you are responsible for how you respond to it. And let's take a look at the family system and consider it to be like a business, okay? And we have a member of the team or a member of the company that's struggling and we're having a lot of problems with. We don't just fire that person. We have to take a look at that and say, okay, I think maybe what we need to do is learn how to manage that person better, and so I always say, let's take a look at the management team. You don't fire the receptionist. You retrain the management team and say, hey, I'm noticing that this is a problem and that we need to deal with it. And our previous way of dealing with it didn't work. So we have to find a new way to deal with this. It doesn't mean you're responsible for his addiction. Nobody's saying that. We're not blaming you for this. What we're saying is you're responsible for how you respond to it. So that's where I come from. And I get a lot of the family stuff trying to tell me how it's so-and-so's fault because of a divorce, because of XYZ, because of this relationship, because of that relationship. And those things may play into it. And again, that means the system has to change, So that's really how I look at it, is that, we want to help the individual get away from the substance abuse, the mental health, and whatever behaviors they need to separate themselves from. But before we bring them home or back into the family system, we want to adjust the family system as well. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, what happened with me this last time around, I mean, it's a shock to the system. The only way that I know is, as the addict alcoholic coming back into a family that has done their own work. It's a shock to the system in the sense that, it's just the way that they react differently to, they talk differently, they communicate differently, they have a different support system. I mean, I still remember when, my mom, had to say like she's got to run it by her Al-Anon sponsor. And I was like, what does that even mean? Like I'm the only one that should have a sponsor. I mean, like I'm asking you for money or something. I mean, I couldn't even remember what it was. And I'm like, settle down, Mom. Like, I think you're taking this a little too serious. You don't need to check with an Al-Anon sponsor. You just need to send me money so I can get, and that was real. I mean, it's,
yeah, because your mom was changing the system.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be totally blunt, as two recovering alcoholics and addicts, nothing terrifies us more than, having our families, flip the script on us and be like, so I've been going to meetings and I have a sponsor. It's like, whoa, hold on. I'm the recovery guy here.
Oh, it's not fair. I mean, it's definitely not. I mean, all the hard work that I put in, and then I have to deal with, like the one thing, there was one certainty that I could, and that was my mom and dad. I could get whatever I wanted from them. And then all of a sudden that changes. Like, I mean, that was unfair. That's not something, but, and it's all part of the system. And, and then it's that full circle. I go back and complain to a sponsor or go, I even shared that in a meeting. And I remember an old timer just saying, like, I mean, next, I mean, like, if you're going to share about this, like, let's keep it to, like, there's some people that are trying to, and I'm just like, that's so rude. Like, this is jarring my system. Like, my parents are no longer, they're talking differently, but I mean, that's what we're talking. It is jarring to the whole system, and it's a whole new way to communicate. It's a whole new way to live. And even like we always say, even if I didn't stay sober, I would like to believe that my family would have handled it completely different too, because they were prepared for it. So,
yeah, I'm with you, 100%. That's absolutely, yeah.
So more, we've had several questions around the last couple of weeks. I think we took last week off for the holidays. Happy 4th of July late. But so a couple of questions kind of lumped into, so the generic answer or question here is, you can take it any which way you want. There's a lot. What do you do? Mainly, I think this is mainly from parents, could be for anyone. When you're dealing with someone that doesn't want to get sober or some form, and there's one particular that's he's 18 or 19, obviously doesn't want to, like the mom and dad are like, like he doesn't want to. What's the point of sending him to treatment? Yeah. There's all these situations when, like, why send, why put up money to treatment if they're not, like, what do you handle? How do you handle the families that are saying, but Kevin, he does not want to get sober? Like, why should we invest, or what, why should we follow your directions when he does not want to get sober?
Well,
he or she doesn't want. I don't want to say he.
Yeah. The answer is really what, like at the family call. I mean, I get this all the time. Family calls and says, well, he don't want to go to treatment. He don't want to quit drinking. I'm like, okay, well, so why are you calling me? What do you want here? I mean, and I'm like, what do you want? Well, he's flunking out of college, he's stealing shit, and he's making our lives miserable. Okay, then I can help you set boundaries around that. You don't, it's not about him, it's about you. What do you want? And I always just tell people, let's just start with what your goals are. And if your goals are for him to stop drinking and stop doing drugs, it's just easy for you to set three simple boundaries. No drugs, no alcohol. You got to go to school or go to work and be self-supporting, because we're not paying for it. And your behavior, you got to quit being a dick, is really what it comes down to. And then you set those boundaries, and then you hold those boundaries with an accountability function, and then you have consequences and rewards. And this is the really important part. You offer a solution for each one. if you say, look, I want you to quit drinking, we're going to start doing our drugs. We're going to start doing drug testing and breathalyzing. And if you want help, we'll get you help. We'll get you a therapist. We'll get you a sober coach. We'll send you to treatment, to IOP, whatever. We'll do whatever you want. We don't care. We don't. We'll have a plan in place.
Yeah.
But, we're not okay with this anymore. And but then, you're also saying to him or her, we're going to respect your choices. If you choose to blow us off and not participate and do any of this stuff, then we're going to choose to keep you at a distance and just be like, okay, that's cool, but you're going to be over there. You're not going to enjoy the benefits of being a member of the family. We're not paying your bills. We're not taking care of things. If you're in college and you're flunking out because you're partying, college is over, and you can come home. You can stay in college and get sober. You can come home and get sober. But if you're going to choose not to get sober, then you're going to choose to figure this out on your own. And you're an adult. We'll respect your choices, and the same thing with the behavior. And that's really the answer. It's not about trying to control them and dictate their behavior. It's about you setting a boundary and holding your boundary and taking care of yourself, and that's really the answer. It's not easy. It's hard and it's uncomfortable. And it's really not the answer that families are looking for. They're looking for how do I control him or her? I'm like, oh, I don't have that. Nobody does.
Yeah.
But what we can do is help them. We can offer them a solution. If they choose not to take the solution, then it's about you changing your system and not accommodating that behavior. There you go. That's the term I was looking for.
What was the term?
Not accommodating their behavior.
Good God, that's nice. Every so often you have a good Kevinism. That's a brand new one. I think I should write that one down. That's another one I can add to the T-shirt collection. So God, dang, we're going to have a whole line of T-shirt collections of Kevinisms before we're all said and done. But this is, it's I love the actual, keep going back to offering solutions. Everyone wants to go and throw out tough love and so forth like that. And I think that just kind of gets thrown out so often just because of, whatever it may be. But, very rarely in those cases is a solution given. So, I love how you just point out, offer solutions and then put it on them. If they want to, have a sponsor, you're learned in the 12 step. We have a spiritual toolkit laid at our feet. We got to reach down and pick it up. They don't put it in our hands and put it around our waist and teach us, it's laid at our, there's some action involved in it. So give them a solution and then let them choose for themselves. Much of these is codependency and just trying to make decisions and protect and over so much going on in the world today right now. I love these. So we have another question. We don't have ages, but that's just, for the most part, what we know him as kind of the binge drinker. This person wants to know, I want to say, if I remember right, I think there's a husband, but ultimately gets drunk 2-3 times a month, but goes on those little runs, sometimes goes MIA for a couple of days, and then shows up the rest of the month, goes to work, clocks in and out. She's just worried about those 2-3 days once or twice a month that he goes MIA, and God knows where he's at and what he's doing. And they want to know, is this a problem? Is this areas of concern? Do I just live with it, Kevin? What do I do?
Well, this is kind of like the last question. It's what do you want? What's your goal? Is this bumming you out? Are you having a hard time with it? Do you not like the fact that he disappears, goes on binges, blah, blah, blah? Is it affecting the family? Is it affecting your relationship with this person? Then speak up. You don't got to hold your tongue. You don't got to stand back and be like, well, he goes to work every day and everything's okay. I mean, this is the kind of person that says something like, well, they're a functional alcoholic. And I'm like, well, there's no such thing. Let's just be really clear. That's not how the game's played. But, that's great. This is the age old statement of, if you don't like the weather, move, and that's, so if you don't like the way you're being treated, then and this is the interesting thing, right? So if you don't like the way you're being treated, for some reason, our natural instinct is to focus on changing the other person's behavior, not changing our behavior, which is baffling to me. I mean, it's not baffling. I totally understand why, and I understand where it comes from. But, the ultimate thing is that if you want the system to change, if you want the relationship to change, you're the one that has to change, not the other person, and hold them accountable and say, I'm sorry, I'm just not willing to be treated like this anymore. And if you want to keep living like that, that's your choice. You're just going to do it without me. And really straightforward, really simple, really direct. Allow that person to make a decision, and it's not about guilt or guilting them or bullying them or getting up in their business and be like, rah, 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 rah. It's like, hey, look, if you want to keep living this lifestyle, go nuts, but I can't accommodate this. I can't do this anymore. This is not how I want to live. And so it's about having the self-respect and the self-esteem to stand up for yourself and what you want, and making it clear to your person, that's not okay. And if it's a child or something, you have a little bit more leverage and power to make a decision for them. But that's really where it starts, is I'm not willing to do this anymore. My favorite story, right, is that every morning you wake up, you open the front door and the cart or the car, the thing from the roller coaster shows up, and you have a choice. You can get on and bitch about it, or you can just let it go. And a lot of times people don't understand that they have that choice, So I always tell people, you have a choice, let it go. Just let it go. Just be like, oh no, that's okay. No roller coasters for me today. Good luck. Hope that works out for you. Those are scary, but you don't got to do it. You don't got to ride the roller coaster if you don't want to.
Well, I'm in for the roller coaster. So what you're telling me is, because I've been really, really depressed the last 2 days. And so I've decided that, when we're done here, is I'm just going to go and going to have a quadruple bacon cheeseburger and chili cheese fries. And then I'm going to go to the mall and shop. But tonight I'm going to feel really good. So you're saying, but that's healthy though, right? Like, because I got to change the way I feel, right, Kevin? I mean,
what are you
that's
talking
how
about?
I change the way I feel. You're telling me that's unhealthy?
I'm telling you that if the reason you're feeling bad about yourself is because of the relationship that you're in, that you need to take care of yourself and set boundaries in that relationship.
Well, it's so much easier to get the quadruple bacon cheeseburger and go buy the new shirt than to take a look inside, Kevin. You know that.
Well, right, and trust me, I'm definitely all for the bacon cheeseburger and the new shirt, because you're going to need a bigger one.
Well, Kevin, what are you saying? Yeah, man, this is a tough crowd. Tough crowd. Wow.
No rhythm here.
So, and then we're going to close on, God, sometimes it's, I need reminders from the lengths that I've gone, and we all been there. And it's, this mom is just one of these heartfelt kind of talks about, I think it's, I don't know, it's probably a younger son or something, but the baseline for the question is she's very curious, and it's probably first time really kind of going through addiction, but she wants to know, Kevin, and she doesn't understand when her son says doing drugs is the only time that I feel normal. What does that mean, Kevin? Because I've mentioned that numerous times. I can relate to it. It still shocks my heart. I know exactly that feeling that that kid's talking about, but more often than not, the family doesn't know what we're talking about.
Well, when someone says the only time I feel normal is when I'm drunk or high, we call those people alcoholics and addicts. I mean, and I'm just say that personally and
Yeah.
professionally. That's just the reality. And I totally get where the mom's coming
Yeah.
from. You know, I understand. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to make light
Yeah.
or be snappy.
No, absolutely.
I mean, I'm being a little sarcastic, but it's because it's like
I think people are used to it. So, you know,
I mean, it's just so painfully obvious that when someone says, "Hey, the only time I feel good is when I'm altered," it's like, well, okay, then we need to get you some help, you know, and we need to figure out what that's all about because that's not a healthy way to live. That's not, you know, you're not going to be engaged in healthy relationships with yourself or other people. And, you know, that's the important thing is being able to take a look at that and say, oh, goodness gracious, that's just not a good idea. And not punish them or get mad or belittle them. It's like, no, no, no. Okay. I mean, I appreciate you sharing that with me. I mean, I've heard that in therapy more than once where someone's like, this is the only time I feel good. It's like, okay, well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about why. Where's that coming from? However, mom is not a therapist. Not her job. She can't fix this. That's the problem is at that point, that's generally when the fangs come out in the codependent relationship. We're like, I must fix you. No, no. You must offer them a solution and then hold them accountable to that solution, not try to fix them. That's a big difference.
wow.
Look at that, you know?
Good God. Every so often, Kevin, every so often, you know, a couple of these weeks you lull me to sleep, and then you have weeks like today where you just come out of your shell.
Yeah.
And you know what? So, and to answer your question, here's what I've come to realize. Like, you know, we still get questions each and every week, and we are snarky and we are sarcastic, and so I think I want to say, and I'm jumping to, you know, conclusions here. I think people understand that we kind of make light of it, but I think I would like to believe that they respect it. But anyway, so I think people are used to the fact that we're going to tell it how it is, and we're going to make a few comments. Matt Brown being one.
Matt Brown.
Danny Andino's another IOP. He's got them all over Texas. I mean, holy crap! Like you could spit in Texas and you're gonna hit a Rise IOP. I'm just telling you. But anyway, this is amazing. This is what we're doing here. What Kevin does and what we're all doing. All these people that have commented and what we're doing is like if we can educate the families and kind of get them over to what Kevin really was kind of saying is if we can normalize putting in our own work and not just laying everything into fix Johnny and everything goes back to normal. And that goes true for everyone. I mean, the addict and alcoholic doesn't get a free pass too. Like everyone goes in and does their own work, and it doesn't just go away. Like I make light of it, but there are some times when I go down and get the double bacon cheeseburger because, you know, life was rough and sometimes, and for 5 brief minutes that changes the way that I feel. And thankfully though, it's not going down to the street corner and going to a drug dealer. I'm no longer I've never been, you know, arrested for driving under the influence of bacon cheeseburgers, you know, that I know of. So, but we still have that mindset, and I still have that wanting to feel normal. And you know, the families, if they can do their own work, and I think that's what makes Kevin unique and so special is, and it's banging your head against the brick wall. And this show in itself is because families so easily don't want to necessarily understand. And it's tough for them to understand that if we all do our own work, the system can mend and and you can create a whole new system or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
The system's broken nonetheless. So we're creating a new system or we're building the old system back up, however you want to see it. But
right.
It's amazing. I mean, what you've said, you've had some great Kevinisms, but good job today. Like above all, like for last couple of shows, I don't know, like you've been kind of off, and we've been sitting in shows and producers are just like, I don't know what's up with Kevin, and I've said like just give him some time every so often.
Oh man.
And then you prove me right. You got shows like today where, I mean, you just knock people's socks off. So
I live for your approval.
Go have that burger and fries. You did well today. So I will see you next week.
All right, my brother. Thank you very much.
Right.